I never had a moment where I decided I was a feminist. It's something I'm grappling with, and though I do identify with feminism, I think I'm still finding a brand that I like the best. I know that I've come into different levels of consciousness around my own feminism throughout my life. My understanding of what a feminist is, or what they can be, has changed, and it continues to change. It's evolved as I have. When I consider what being a feminist means to me, I think about how I came into this feeling of discomfort around perceptions, comments, and expectations that were given to me or at me, or that I have given to others, based solely on gender. I consider my feminist experience to be intersectional. It's intertwined and connected with my experience as a woman of color, a woman of mixed ethnicity, and a child of an immigrant. I cannot separate becoming woke to my feminism from being woke in other ways. In my own exploration of feminism, or rather in finding my unique brand of it, I think about my mother. It's pretty much impossible not to. As I started to write my own feminist autobiography, I thought analyzing my mother's experience would be a perfect place to start. The following video is the start of an ethnographic research project. It's a conversation between my mother and I. We have had a million conversations, but this one took place on our first mother-daughter international trip to Italy. Part 1 starts in Venice, and Part 2 takes place in Rome. So I'm going to start with questions kind of about, like, your childhood.
Oh God. That.
So what was it like for you growing up with a lot of siblings and, like, girls and boys?
Yeah, it was the best. I mean, it didn't feel like, even though counting them, there's lots of people. It didn't feel like a lot of people to me because it just feels normal. That that's what you have is a big family, and being the youngest, I always felt like I'm the special one because I didn't have to do anything. Everybody did it for me, and I like that part. And yeah, so I didn't, because I didn't have anything else to compare it with.
Yeah.
Too. So I have my parents and all my brothers and sisters, and by the time I came along, I had nephews and nieces. So I grew up with them too, not knowing they were my nieces and nephews. So normal upbringing.
Well, what do you think about like how you were raised versus brothers, though, like girls versus boys?
Well, it was obviously, well, in my own family, my mother always favored my brothers. So they were treated differently, and we were raised to respect our brothers too. And we do. To this day, we still do. But at
Treated differently how?
I didn't. Well, they like going places. Girls couldn't go, even though it's the same. Like a dance, and like a dance on the island. The boys can go, with no questions. But the girls, you have to do lots of things, extra chores. You have to beg in order to go. But my brothers went whenever they were in and out, whenever, and but not the girls. But it was normal.
Right.
We didn't see it as all. I didn't see it as being they were being treated. I didn't see the difference. I didn't. I just
Because it
saw
was
it
so
as
normal.
yeah. I just thought that's okay. That's how everything is supposed to be, and I didn't see it as anything against me being a girl. And like I said again, because me being the youngest, I was still being treated differently than my.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I was part of this. I was okay.
It was like the boys and then you.
Yeah.
And then I wonder
Yeah.
how your older sisters.
Yeah, if Auntie Rhoda was here, we would have asked her.
A different
she would tell you
perspective.
everything. She would tell you she has her own perspective of the whole thing. Well,
yeah.
And the thing is, each one of, even my brothers have a different perspective of it, you know.
What do they think?
They liked it because they were the recipient of this good treatment. But at the same time, they were still being raised to treat us with respect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was a mutual respect between siblings, you know, and the elders. And my brothers were raised to treat us with respect.
Mm-hmm.
That was the big thing for my mother, is to treat each other with respect, especially in her case. Again, I'm just talking about in her
your family.
Anybody that she gave birth, you're supposed to respect each other.
Mm-hmm.
And she pushed that on us to if I gave birth to you, you respect each other, whether we have the same father, because we have there 12 13 of us 12 of us with 3 dads. And we get along. Like my 3 4 5 older siblings have a different father than us, and but we get along because my mother insisted on that, but didn't insist, it just told us. Didn't, oh, you have to do it, just told us.
Right.
I gave birth to this one, I gave birth to this one.
Well, that's pretty common, no?
Yeah.
Like, just...
Yeah. But no, the thing is, because you see in other families, in my cousin's family,
it's not the same.
The half brothers, they were treated. It is in my aunt's family, and the half brothers, they're not treated. They're not included. They're not included. So I saw that difference, and then I always do. Now I go back and I think about it. And it was because my mother made sure.
Yeah, she made it a priority.
Because even with her upbringing, even though she was, my grandparents gave birth to her, but she wasn't raised by she was raised by the chief of the island, because she was named after the chief of the island. So she was raised by them until she was 18, and then she came back in the family. But and she's the oldest. She's my grandfather's oldest child. She's always been honored as an oldest child. She blended right back into her own family, and there was no friction when she came back. So when she had children, she made sure that we all get along with each other, and it's easy. You've met some of my brothers and sisters, and I think you've met all of them, and it's easy to get along with them because each one of us I think each one of us carry something of my mother. So that's, it's kind of, it's nice.
You talked a little bit about your mom being raised by another family, and that's a thing that happens. Can you talk more about that? Just like in the Cook Islands, other family members raising kids, like not just a nuclear family. It's not just mom, dad, and kids. It's other people are around raising kids.
There's always aunts and uncles or grandparents raising children, and they're called, or even when they're being raised by another family, they're not adopted.
Yeah.
Because there's no legal papers to say they're adopted. They're called a feeding child. It just means that you ate meals over there.
Yeah.
And then you came home. I mean, years down the road. Sometimes they never come back. They don't come back, but they've always been included. It's not.
What about like
door.
Nettie and Tichelle? Can you talk about them?
Oh, Nettie and Tichelle.
I feel like that's a good example.
Yeah, Nettie and Tichelle. They're Auntie Roro's grandkids. Well, let's go back to their mother, to Appy, your cousin Appy. When Abby was born, uh, her mother went to New Zealand. Auntie Rhoda went to New Zealand, left Abby. Abby was 8. No, Abby was 15 months old, and I was 8. And my two brothers and I helped raise Abby. We pretty much raised Abby, so we regard her as our oldest child.
Yeah.
To this day, she's in her 40s now. She's just turned 44, I think, and so we raised her, and then we left. Everybody left. My brothers went to Australia, New Zealand, and I came here, and then my niece Abby stayed with my parents, and then she had her kids, Nettie and Tichelle, and with my grandparents, and they continued to raise them, and as their own. But even though it's not really their own, it's the whole family. Those two are the whole family's two kids, because they don't have their, my niece Abby, never married their fathers. They have two different fathers, but they were never seen as that. They were our children.
Yeah.
It was the whole family's children, those two. And now they have their own families. So they were raised by my parents until my parents died, and then they they have their own families now, because they both have partners and have children, and they're raising their children on their own, because my parents are gone. They're not in the house anymore. They're with their partners' families. But again, that's just a normal life, to see them and to be involved, because everybody's pretty much involved in their upbringing. Those two, because we all watched them grow up and watch my grandparents take care of them, and the thing is not, because there was another niece who was helping raise them and took it out.
Yeah.
Because my two brothers and I raised Abby and Abby's brother and Tokera. Tokera was one of Abby was our oldest child, and then Tokera was our second oldest, and then you guys, in our birth children. But those were our, we still regard them as ours, and they regard us as part of them. Like they don't call me. Well, they call me auntie now, because there are a lot of because their grandkids are calling me auntie. Okay, even though I'm not auntie to their grandkids, but so those two. It's the upbringing of Tichelle and Nettie. It's typical life for grandkids or great grandkids being born with the grandparents, because once they're born with them, we can't leave. We can't leave, because grandparents always say, "You stay, bury me. You stay, bury me."
Yeah.
And they do, and whether it's a good life or not, they're happy. It's all like those two. When you see them, they're happy. Their life is nothing typical, compared to our life, but they're happy.
You talked a little bit about family roles and how it's very fluid in the Cook Islands. So how did that feel coming to the U.S.? And do you hear that guy singing?
Yes, I like that one.
Italy.
That's right. You're in Italy, someone's singing in the back. She had lots of questions. What was the question again?
How did it feel coming to the U.S. where I don't think family roles are very fluid at all. I think it's very typical nuclear family. There's mom, dad, kids, and maybe people get divorced and remarry or whatever, but it's very feels very structured. So how
Yeah.
did that feel coming from a fluid family setting to like a very structured one, or structured expectations?
Yeah. Well, I didn't really, it didn't really. Again, coming from a place that I didn't have anything to compare with, and then coming in, I thought, oh, okay, this is normal for here.
Okay.
I just went into that. I think that's how I do. That's how I am with everything anyway. If I go into a situation, I say, oh, okay, this is how this one
Just
happens.
adapt to it.
Yeah, easily. And
Yeah.
so I didn't really, I admired it a little bit
Why?
because I'm like, oh, it's just this little group of people instead of the whole tribe. I admire that just for a little bit though, and then I realized that I said, wait a minute, where's everybody else? Like with Dad's family, Dad's an only
Small
child.
family, yeah.
There's no one, and I didn't understand that only child. Wait a minute, why couldn't they have more than one child? And
Yeah, so that's a weird thing too. You being the youngest of such a big group, and then Dad being an only child.
yeah,
Do you think that was like maybe something that was interesting to you, or
it was interesting to me because again, it's new. It was
Yeah.
new to me, but I didn't really quite understand it when I first found out that your dad was an only child in the cookhouse. When he's maybe he's just saying that. I didn't quite believe it until I got here. I'm like, whoa. And the thing is, though, there's such thing as only children in the Cook Islands because we have a name for it. Like we named your brother Jokotai because
because it's
an
like
only,
it's
it signifies someone being an only child. But even then, that
Did you know any?
Did I know any? Yes.
Okay.
My cousin was an only child.
Oh, and why?
Because her parents, her mother was forbidden from having children by
Why?
the grandmothers, because she begged for this baby.
Okay.
Because she had her baby late in life, which is not a typical thing now. They are 17, 18, you have babies, but hers, I think she had her in her 20s. She had to beg her parents.
To let her have a kid.
Yeah. Then finally, her grandmother agreed and said, "Okay, you're having this child. You're gonna have one child." And then, when she, the reason she wasn't allowed to have a child because they didn't want my uncle to be, a father to their grandchild, but. Because my uncle was with somebody else, so they didn't like that. But anyway, they had she had the baby, and after that was it. Because her grandparents told her you will only have one child, and she did. But that only child, my cousin, ended up having 10 children. She probably has 50 grandchildren now. She still lives on the island. I still see her when I go see her. But yeah, she's the only child in my family that I knew of.
And she had cousins, at least, right?
That was the thing, because even if you were an only child, it didn't feel like only children.
Yeah.
And plus her parents had feeding children.
Okay. So not the typical only child.
It
wasn't just her and her parents.
An only child by birth. But in the family situation, no. She was not, because they were birth, the parents had feeding children. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's different.
Yeah, so it's different than. That's why when your dad told me, I'm like, what? Okay. Then I come here, I'm like, okay. And then I find out that Papa's an only child. And I'm like, wait, something is not quite right here. Why couldn't these people actually?
But Papa doesn't seem like an only child, but Dad does.
Well, yeah, because Papa wasn't, Papa wasn't raised by himself, because Papa's only child. James, Uncle James, they were both only children.
Yeah.
They were raised together.
So it's different, yeah.
Yeah. But Dad is an only child.
Like a typical only child. Very typical.
That's why, I named Joseph Jokota. Jokota is an only child after Dad and Papa.
So, what about gender roles in raising Miney and Joe and I. Do you think that played a part, or yeah,
What do you mean gender role?
like typical boy-girl stuff? Like, do you think that there was anything intentional in raising us, or?
I don't know. Do you think?
Well,
I don't know. You might be the one to answer that one better.
Not my interview. It's your interview.
Well, if there was anything, it was not intentional, But but I have, I had a tendency, raising you guys, because thinking to my mother how she did it, not wanting to do it the way she did it, not wanting to compare, but then deep down, there's still some of her that
you can't really deny stuff like
you
that.
Can't do it.
Yeah,
it just comes through.
True.
That's just it just comes through. And
if you were raised a certain way, it doesn't just go away because you want it to.
Yeah, and the thing is though, and raising children here, it was tough because I did not have anyone, and so Dad and I did it, and just kind of went with whatever's normal over here, and I didn't. I don't think I did any. I don't know about the gender thing you're asking, but I don't see. Why do you think you were treated differently than the boys were?
I mean, maybe a little.
I see it too, and then I see the.
I think there's definitely different expectations. Like, have you ever questioned why Joe and Miney aren't big into cooking? Like, not that you do that now, but you guys have done that before. Like, well, you need to learn how to cook. You need to do the dishes or whatever. And
no, because I didn't.
I feel like that was more directed towards me than towards them. But just as an example.
Oh, okay. Well, the thing is though, but I think all three of you, were raised to do chores. It doesn't have to be you do the dishes. And there was no gender thing. Who's gonna do the dishes? Who's gonna do this? Because each one of you did it, and even ironing. My boys know how to iron,
right?
And I did my. I wanted everybody to. I wanted all of you to be self-reliant. That was my thing, because even though I wasn't raised that way. Because everybody did it for me. But all my brothers did the stuff that the girls did.
Right.
Even laundry. My brother was one of the ones who taught me how to do laundry. And ironing. Another brother taught me how to iron pants. And because my sisters were too busy doing all my stuff, and they didn't want to. They were like, they'd rather do it themselves than do this thing when I'm around them. They'll do it. Whatever we're doing, there's no, it's okay, I'll do it.
Oh, that's funny.
I'll do it.
So
to
funny.
This day, they still treat me that way. I used to resent it. I don't anymore. Because I like it.
Yeah.
And I went back to the way when I was a kid.
It's like nostalgic.
Yeah, it's like, it's nice, even with my brothers, the same thing. Like one of my brothers would make me, that's the only time I drink coffee. Remember I told you, drink coffee with the coconut cream in it.
Yeah.
My brother is the only one who makes it to me for but again that was his way of showing me his love for me, and that's the only time I drink coffee. But the gender thing, because to me in the islands it's fluid how people because it's a matriarchal society. Mom's the boss,
right?
And so everybody can, whatever mom tells you to do, you do, whether you're a boy or girl. Everybody's just like the acceptance of transgender stuff in the family.
Yeah, talk about that.
It's like I have a few in the family. We call them Lele,
and that's for transgender or gay or both or whatever.
I think that's only one. We only have one name for it.
Only one term.
But
there's not the LGBTQ.
No, there's no
all the other.
No, there's no thing. It's either like one of Abby's son, John.
Yeah.
We don't know what he is, but like his grandmother Auntie Rhoda says, oh, he's gay. He doesn't know he's gay. And I said, but how do you know that? Have you ever been, do you know what that means? That was the thing is, they don't exactly know what it means.
Uh-huh.
Is it just dressing up? Because I went to school with one who always wanted to dress up. To this day, he's always
He
dressed as
dresses like
yeah,
feminine.
yeah,
Or okay.
yeah. But everybody's afraid of her because his masculinity comes out too. Because when he's pissed, watch out. But yeah, that gender stuff. It's just over here. It's too.
Yeah.
There's your corner. There's mine.
It's very defined.
It's not. Yeah, it's not. It just flew to me. Going back to the way we raised you guys. I don't think uh, I restricted you guys to do. Okay, you do. This is yours. This is hers. This is yours. And I know you and mine see the way I treat Joe differently.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
again, that goes back to my upbringing, being a youngest child.
Penelope being the youngest child.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and being the youngest child. Even though I always deny it.
I mean,
Because
now you can't deny
I can't
it.
deny
It's
it.
just like, there it is.
No, I've denied it to my family, to my own family, because they tell me, oh, that's just like you. And I said, no.
It's funny.
But it is. It is. And because I didn't see anything wrong with that. And it's just, but now, being here, I see the point, okay, he needs to move on. He will.
Yeah, he will.
And I'll deny it.
What about, can you talk a little bit about religion and like how you were brought up, and then how you were brought up?
Religion is life. That's how I was brought up. That's
And
the only thing.
what do you consider
That's the only
yourself?
thing. I'm Protestant. I'm a Christian, Protestant. But now I'm more into the Catholic because I grew up in the Catholic Church. But religion is everything. Everything in your life is with religion, and prayer in the morning, family prayer in the morning, at night before going to bed. If my brothers were going out, there's a prayer first before they went out. As teenagers, they were teenagers.
Oh, wow.
Because like I said, my brothers were allowed to go out, and if you wanted to go out, you have to sneak out as a girl, and we did. And but I always had guy friends. And I thought, I'm just gonna go da da da. But you cannot leave the house until the family devotion is done. Because everybody takes turns, and then if you're going out with your friends, because that happened with me being the youngest, I was allowed to have friends come over. My girlfriends would come. Well, they would be in the family devotion before you go out.
Okay.
And someone would read the Bible. My dad would do this, and then we all covered with a blanket. Sometimes my dad would say the longest prayer, hoping we'll fall asleep. And it works sometimes. Because, he's asking for protection for someone, so naming, but it's, the protection for my brother who's going to go to such and such, and that family, da, 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 da. So the prayer goes on and on and on. So you end up falling asleep. You're already covered with the blanket anyway. Your shoulders cannot show when you're in prayer. So anyway, when my girlfriends would come, we would be, and I would be doing the same thing with their families too if I went to their family. But evening devotion, and after that, then you go out. But it's all about prayer. Sunday, everybody goes to church. We go to Sunday school, and church is 3 times on Sunday, and everybody went. During the week, there's church 3 days, early morning. Only the adults go to that one. But everything, and the only thing on the island that starts on time is church. Everything else, it doesn't matter. There's always tomorrow. Everything else is there's
But
always
church
tomorrow.
is very...
Church, that's the only thing on time. School, people going to work. What time do you work? 7. But it's 9 o'clock. But church, the only day that starts on time.
Interesting.
And every occasion on the island starts with a prayer, ends with a prayer. Everything.
So how did your experience with religion change over the years?
I always had it, but when I came here for, I think the first 25 years I lived here, I didn't have it over here because your dad's an atheist.
Right.
You're influenced by those around you.
Right.
And I didn't know any, and I wasn't strong enough to push it. Like you guys were not raised with religion.
Right.
Because I didn't, because I wasn't comfortable with my own belief in this country.
Okay.
It's not, but the thing that saved me was because I always went home.
Yeah.
I always went home, and when I go home, it's church.
You still have that connection.
Yes, I still have that. My belief my faith never went away. And I always had my faith. Even with the 25 years that I didn't do church, I always prayed every day. I always prayed. I still say the same prayer my father taught me when I was 8.
What is it?
To this day. Like in the morning, for morning prayer. I always wake up. I thank God for saving me through the night, protecting me through the night. I ask God for help throughout the day, and then I forgive my sins through God. Through Christ, I ask. It's a short prayer. My dad taught me that when I was 8, to cheat on a test, in a Sunday school test. I still remember because he was one of the Sunday school teachers, and I got to the school in Atu, and it was Sunday morning. Yeah, all the kids were there, and he comes looking. He had already seen the test. He came looking for me, and I said, "What's the matter?" He said, "Oh, there's something on there that you don't know." I was 8.
Better get 100%.
Because I always got 100%. But then he said, "There's something," and I said, "What is it?" Because he wasn't the one who was, because most of the test was done orally for Sunday school.
Right, because you need to memorize things.
So, and I said, "What is that?" Then it's a prayer, morning prayer. When you wake up, what's the prayer that you say when you wake up on your own? There's always a family prayer, but there's one that you have to say it. And I said, "Okay." So he told me, and it was okay. And then it was time for me to go to.
And you remembered it.
And remember to this day.
It's stuck.
I still say it in Maori. I still pray in Maori, and and then I still remember Auntie Rhoda teaching her kids, her boys, the prayer before going to bed at night. It's just asking God to protect me through the night, help me throughout the night. Amen. They were little boys when they were taught that, because I brought it up with them recently. They're like, "Oh," and I said, "You guys remember that prayer?" Then Auntie Rhoda said, "I still remember that." I said, "Yeah, I still remember."
Of course she does.
I still remember you teaching that prayer. But and mine was because everything, it's always been my life. I've always said prayer. I've always, like even when you guys were teenagers going out, you're going out. I say, "But watch them." Watch them.
Well, I guess it worked.
Watch them, and I pray harder for John. And then even the night of when he had his accident. And I questioned myself, did I pray that night? Did I pray for him? But, and I did. But that was just a path that night that he had to go on.
Yeah.
And even then, him not being damaged, that was a prayer being answered, and because I thanked my parents that morning when I saw him. I thanked them for being there, holding the glass away from him.
Yeah, he got so lucky.
Yeah, he got lucky with that one.
So lucky.
But I always say prayers, and now I even say extra prayers. Being in the Catholic,
because of all the Catholic different prayers.
Yeah, and like we were when we were in Rome.
Yeah.
When I lit the candle for my parents, I had to do that one, and then I saw, with one of the statues that I saw, this one was Mary said a prayer, but that was one thing, I always hid it from your dad.
Yeah.
Your dad knows my faith. He knows that much. But to do things like that in front of your dad, I don't do it.
Yeah,
I
he's
don't do it.
very...
Yeah, because he's very vocal about his
Yeah.
non-belief, and it's insulting to me, so I don't bother. I don't respond to it, and I just leave it alone. But church, God has always been a big one for me.
How does it feel then that like Joe and Miney and I are not religious at all?
Again, it's your upbringing. I didn't raise you with it, and I regret it sometimes, but I don't regret that more because you guys can seek it yourself when you think it's important to you. Because I've accepted that as part of being raised over here. Is you let go of your children, let them do well with religion, because Dad and I did decide on that one, not to raise you guys with any particular faith because of so we both agreed that it's up to you guys when you grow up to do whatever you want with it. We did because it wasn't a winning battle for me. I didn't want to fight that battle.
Yeah.
And I, if it happens, like with Biden, I thought it would happen with Biden. When Biden was dating Amy.
Oh, because their dad was a pastor or whatever. Yeah.
Amy was, and Amy's dad was a deacon.
Oh, yeah.
At that church in Long Beach. And I was humbled by that one. And then when it didn't work out, I was okay with that one too. But, my mind went there with that one, with that relationship. And, but it's not, especially growing up here, it's not a big thing. All my families know you guys don't do that. And they, most of your cousins don't.
Right.
Even though the ones in New Zealand were closer to islanders, they don't. They're not into your Uncle Gil's kids.
Yeah.
No, we don't push it on our kids. Even though we didn't think it was pushed on us, it was just because like my Uncle Gil, we talk about this stuff because I talk to him the most. My brothers and sisters. We talk about religion being not being in our children's lives, but we don't see it as a negative thing. We see it, they weren't raised down there. We raised them. He's in Australia. Right. I'm here, so you just go with whatever's there, and there's nothing wrong with it. So I've always accepted that everybody's got their own path. Whatever belief, it doesn't matter, because as long as they're happy, that's because my mother always told us that too, and even my father especially. My mother was, oh no, you do it this way. My father like, oh, whatever makes you happy.
A little more
makes
chill.
You happy. That makes you happy. It's okay. Just know the door is always open.
Right.
That was his thing. It didn't have to be do this. Like even my coming here, that was hard on them. Because all the family went to New Zealand and Australia, and I came here. That was hard on them. I didn't realize that until years later. And then when they died, my brothers and sisters told me about it. I said, why didn't you tell me then? And they're like, well, we weren't allowed to tell.
What about when you first moved here and meeting people? What was that like?
That was hard. That was hard.
Why?
Because when I came, I didn't know any. I knew 2 islanders, 2 guys, and because someone told me, oh, so lives there, and then coming here, making friends was it was not easy because I didn't know what it was like, being. It was a different place, and I had my name. thank goodness I had mine. Mine saved me. And because I went through the Parks and Rec to take mommy and me classes, and I met people through that. And then I continued that with you guys when you were little. In fact, some of my friends were made through that. Like Faith is when you were two, and you and Erica, Faith's daughter, were two. You guys were in dance, ballet, and that's how we met. And so I'm still friends with her to this day. But in the beginning, it was hard because Dad was at work, and it was Maine and I, and but I think having the attitude of just making things work, because I was raised to believe that you can make anything work wherever you are. Wherever you are, you can make it suit you, because you're the one who's gonna live in it. You have to make it work for you, nobody else. And because if you're comfortable, those around you will be comfortable. So.
So, how do you feel like living in Long Beach today? Do you feel like you're part of the community?
Yes and no.
Why?
Because I still call the islands as home. So Long Beach is the place that my children grew up. I've lived there longer than I've ever lived anywhere. I've lived in Long Beach longer than I've been in the Cook Islands. But Cook Islands is still home to me. And but because Long Beach is my children's home, then it's my home too. So, and the community thing, I think I've always been. I don't think Long Beach is so diverse that my idea of a community is just one place. In Long Beach is not that. Long Beach is all over the place. It's it's got branches all over, and I'm comfortable in that, because I'm not. I don't think I'm not comfortable in a set place, because I guess that's why I'm here, not in the islands. Because in the islands you're stuck in this place. Long Beach, I have an opportunity to move out, and I like Long Beach. It's my second home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. What is feminism?
Feminism? That's an American thing.
Why?
I mean, women is women. I mean, it's not. I didn't think it was a thing until I came to America.
What do you
Feminism. To me, well, in the islands, because there's no such word. I didn't grow up with that word. Then when I heard it when I came to the States, I'm like, wait, but, and I still didn't understand it. And I said, why, what's the point? Why bother? You're a woman, he's a man. Because I was raised with that not being a big deal. It's, to me, like in the islands, maybe in my family, the roles intermingle. They're not, because I saw my dad cooking. I saw my dad took care of us a lot, and I didn't see it as my mom's job, or until my sister started taking care of me. That's when I realized, oh, this is a woman's job, taking care of the house, taking care of the family. I believe in it that someone should be taking care of them, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a woman. Like when I was growing up, my mom would leave. Okay, there was no the transportation, the inter-island transportation is on the boat. And the boat came to the island every 3 months. We would go to school, come home, and my mom's gone. And I would ask my dad, where's mom? Oh, you went on the boat. Well, she's gone for 3 months. So my dad became the parent. And then my mom would come back to, and my mom was the disciplinarian in the family. And she was back to it again. But it was not, I didn't see, to me, it was the arrangement. That's what I thought. Well, later on in life, I didn't realize, it was just my mom wanted to get away from anything. It was her way of coping with taking care of too many kids. She would just leave. But then she didn't leave us with no one. There was my dad, my aunts, there was always someone to take care of us. And so the idea of feminism here, I still don't understand it, and I think it's because I don't want to understand it, because I'm comfortable with who I am, where I am, physically, literally, everything. I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with the person that I am. I don't need to be, associated with this being a feminism, and it's not me.
So, do you think I'm a feminist?
Yes, you are. And
Why?
you've always, I'm not, it's just your lifestyle, the way you do things. You travel by yourself. To me, you're always proving that you can do things yourself. And you can do things yourself. And, and all this, the classes you're taking. And I didn't realize that, like I told Lisa, I didn't realize I raised a feminist, and I'm proud of that. Maybe it'll encourage me to understand it more, but I don't think so, because I'm comfortable with what I know, and I'm comfortable with seeing you being that person. I like that, because I don't want you to be, I want you to be yourself, and you've been yourself. To be you being you, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of seeing it now, because at the time you drove me nuts. I'm like, oh my gosh, again, the office again, you drove me nuts. But I understand it now, and I appreciate it now, and I'm like, okay, because that's what I wanted. I did not want my child to be just like me. Just like I didn't want to be like my mom. Yeah, but down the road, you become the person you don't want to be. But which, like in my case, I'm a lot like my mom, to some point, and I'm proud of it. So maybe someday you will be proud of the part of you that's like me, even though you drove me nuts when you were little. But I think that's part of growing up.
What did you think of the Women's March when we went last year?
That was just amazing. That was amazing. And just to be in that group with hundreds and hundreds of women, with, to feel that power. It felt powerful to me. It felt powerful, and going with you made it more special for me. And going with you and Gina, and it was just amazing, just to be in that powerful movement that it's made of women, and again, not being full-on feminist, it was good for me to see. It was a learning, educational thing for me to see. Yeah, so it was good.